You're listening to the Extraordinary Everyday podcast with Wendy Johnson, episode number 20.
Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday podcast, where women come to be inspired and motivated to become the best version of themselves and elevate the quality of their everyday. Now, here's your host, certified life coach, Wendy Johnson.
Hello, beautiful friends. I hope you're doing great today. I am excited to talk to you today. I am doing something different because this week I am on vacation in Park City, Utah, and enjoying the beautiful weather and the outdoors. And the only thing I'm doing this week is recording a podcast. And I want to talk to you today about a profound book that changed my life. And I read this book back in the year 2000, and I reread it the first month of COVID in April 2020. I reread two of his books, The Power of Now and New Earth. And I am talking to you today about 3 life-altering lessons that I learned from Eckhart Tolle. And one of my favorite quotes from him is to realize deeply that this moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. And Eckhart Tolle has either big followers or big haters. And all I know is that when there are 3 million copies of a book sold, that I need to know what it's about and how it can help me. And that's what I'm sharing here. And Eckhart Tolle starts out by saying that he had a troubled and problematic life and periods of depression. And he found peace by discovering that the word I, everything is I am, the self-generated thoughts from his mind created all of his worry and his regret and his anxiety and his depression. I learned about Eckhart Tolle in the year 2000 when I was watching an Oprah Winfrey Super Soul Sunday, I believe it was, and it was recommended. It was a New York Times bestseller, and I hung on to the book and reread it a couple of years ago, and it really helped me get through COVID and just enjoy all the moments and not get worked up and worried about everything that was going on in the world, all of the chaos. And I actually really enjoyed that time period of COVID. And I did a lot of work and created quite a few programs during that time. That's why I want to share this with you, because I think if you are not a big book reader, or you may have read this book a long time ago, but you forgot about what the lessons were, I just want to give you these 3 lessons to help you worry less and regret less. And the first lesson is all life is a series of present moments. And most people have very common bad feelings, and most of them have feelings of regret and anxiety. And the reason why we have regret and worry about things lies in the way our minds work. And I know on many of the podcasts, I've talked about the mind and the constant stream of consciousness. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and our minds are playing 24/7. And they're preoccupied with 2 things: what's happened in the past and what may happen in the future. So let me give you an example. If you were to wake up 10 minutes late in the morning, what is the first thing you'll think about? Darn, I overslept. I wish I wouldn't have hit the snooze button. And then you have another thought, one after another. Oh no, I'll be late for work. I'm going to be in big trouble. And then it's one negative thought after another, and that can affect the entire day that you have at work. So what Tolle has said is that the only important time is the one we think about, and that's the one we think about least, the present. And the reason only the present matters is that everything happens here. Everything you feel and sense takes place in the present. And when you think about it, the past is nothing more than all the present moments that have gone by, and the future is just the collection of present moments waiting to arrive. So living in any other moment than the present is useless. So say you are in school and your task is to hand in a paper and it's due in 14 days. Two things can happen. You can worry about the future and the big workload you're going to have before those 14 days are up. And then you can also regret on all the time that you procrastinated each day. But if you start solving in the present each step, one problem at a time, and creating an outline and working backwards, that's how you can stay present in the moment and not get worked up with regret and worry. And then lesson 2 is any pain you feel results from resisting the things you can't change. And I'm a big fan of Stoicism and have read many books on Stoicism. And part of their philosophy includes the idea that the only pain you really suffer is the one you create for yourself. That anything that happens is just neutral. It is. And Tolle agrees with that. And he argues that pain is nothing more than the result of you resisting to all the things you cannot change. We think a lot about the past and the future, but can truly only live in the present. So there's no means to change what has already happened and what may happen in the future. So we fill in the gap in the present moment by developing resistance to those things that we're thinking about in the past and the future. And what we experience is pain, and it can be physical pain or psychological pain. When you're angry, that anger usually makes you think and act less rational, which more often than not results in a worse situation and more pain. But if you know that it's really just the thoughts you're thinking in your head, and it has nothing to do with the past or the future. And if you were to check in with the present moment, you would find that you're feeling peace, that there really is nothing going on but what's in your head. And lesson 3, you can free yourself from pain by constantly observing your mind and not judging your thoughts. So then how do you get rid of the pain if you have those thoughts? And Tolle recommends 2 ways of doing this. And the first way is to constantly ask yourself, what will my next thought be? And I forgot about this, that if I just stop and pause and remember the last thought I had, and then ask myself, well, what will my next thought be? It's allowing me to become more aware and acceptive that I am not my brain, and my brain is going to have crazy thoughts. And the second way to get rid of pain is to stop judging your thoughts and your urges. And that first strategy, what will my next thought be? It comes from the effect called the quantum Zeno effect, and it's from physics. And it says that you can't freeze any system in its current state by constantly observing it. Asking yourself this question over and over, what will my next thought be, will usually delay your actual next thought. And there'll be space. And it gives you enough time to realize how much time you actually spend in autopilot mode. This way, you can start interrupting your mind and thus separating from it because you are not your mind. And the second method is meant to help you listen to your body and learn to accept the constant nagging thoughts in your head about what you should be doing or not doing. And the next time you do wake up late for work, just listen to that voice that says you should have done better. Don't act on the thoughts that are going to automatically come up. And these thoughts have been pre-programmed for years. And it's just noticing the thoughts and not judging them and not urging and going and believing the thoughts. Notice it and see it, accept that it's there, but don't give in to its advice. So these tools will help you separate your body from your always on thought-driven mind, after which you'll be in less pain because you'll resist the things you can't change. So I want to summarize these 3 lessons. And the first lesson is all life is a series of present moments. The second lesson, all pain is a result of resistance to the things you cannot change. And the third lesson, you can free yourself from pain by constantly observing your mind and not judging your thoughts. And the 2 tools he recommends are to constantly ask yourself, what will my next thought be? And to stop judging your thoughts and urges. And these tools, these lessons are going to help you spend less time worrying about the future or regretting the past. This is lost time that we're losing in the present because the only place you can truly live is in the present, which is why I think this book is so important because it has actionable strategies to start living every moment as it occurs and becoming 100% in and for your life. And if you haven't read this book, I recommend you do so. I hope you all have a beautiful week. I appreciate you being here and for showing up for yourself and doing something that is one of the most important things you can do. And that is to invest in yourself and to improve yourself. And I look forward to speaking with you next week. I may still be here in Park City because we've extended our stay, but then I may be coming to you from Montana. Time will tell. Anyway, friends, thank you. See you next week. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.